Welcome to Cloud and Serverless Computing. I, Dr. V. Naresh, course coordinator for this course. This course is offered for Y21 students with the course code 21CS3281 in three different modes. One is regular, advanced and a peer mentor. In today's session, we will be discussing about introduction to serverless computing. I consider this session is very much important for the students who are new to this concept. So let us start. What do you mean by serverless computing? Yes, the moment when you hear the term serverless, it's more misleading and confusing for most of the people, right? And this serverless is becoming extremely common in recent years as these services have exploded in popularity, right? So how we can understand this, what it aims for? So this misleading and confusing, but out of which, in what way we can understand this, as there are always running the servers for our code and applications, but still we are calling it as a serverless computing, which means the aim of this is a developer is not going to worry about the servers and its managing. Developer is completely focusing on his code. That's why we are calling it as a serverless, and provisioning, managing can be done by AWS completely. Okay, so which aims to convey that there is no servers that you need to manage. This is what you need to underline always and remember throughout the career. Okay, so this serverless computing, not only in Amazon Web Services but also in other cloud platforms like Azure, GCP, Oracle, Alibaba Cloud and Nutanix, Tencent Cloud, IBM Cloud, whatnot. In every cloud almost is becoming more and more popular, this term. So we are offering cloud serverless computing course as an advanced level, and the prerequisite for this course is the student must know the basic services of Amazon Web Services. For them, this course is completely in understanding manner, because this course is going to provide you an opportunity to build serverless web applications with the help of very advanced AWS services. So we will see one by one, and our course team is also dedicated towards every session and working towards to make you understand every service as offered in this cloud serverless computing. So all the best. Let us see the services. Okay, so as a consumer of the serverless service, your code runs automatically when it is needed, and you need not have to worry, or you never have to worry about the patching and maintenance activities. Okay, so developer is completely focusing on his development of the code, and provisioning of that particular server is completely not bothering you. Okay, completely not bothering you. That's the duty of service providers, okay, not the developer, right? So let us see more content related to the serverless. Serverless computing allows you to build and run applications and services without thinking about the servers. Next, serverless applications don't require you to provision, scale and manage any servers. You can build them for virtually any type of applications or background services, and everything required to run and scale your applications with a high availability is handled for you. Building serverless applications means that your developer cannot worry about the databases, or cannot worry about the servers, cannot worry about the maintenance of servers, provisioning of the server, nothing. So if he can only concentrate on his code, okay, so developers can focus on their core product instead of worrying about managing and operating servers. So one of the most important thing is can be very cheap, okay, because servers will work only for you when you require. The rest of the time there is no charges at all, right? So that is the beauty of this course. When an end user triggers an event, during that particular computation time charges are going to be applicable. Rest of the time there is no charge at all, right? So that's the advantage with serverless computing. More fun, more interest you will get in further classes, okay, and also we will see some more important points related to serverless computing, right? So if you can see, these are the few services I have gathered related to serverless services offered in various cloud service providers. First one is AWS Lambda. Lambda is also called as a function as a service. FaaS, we call it as FaaS, FaaS, function as a service. So in Amazon Web Services we are calling it as Lambda, okay. So this is mostly useful the moment when you call serverless, the first picture come to your mind is Lambda, okay. Next we have more useful service in any project, okay. In any project of serverless is mostly used S3, simple storage service. Next we have API gateway. Then we do have a DynamoDB, simple notification service, SNS short form, and queue services, that is SQS, simple queuing services, step function, event bridge, Fargate, like that many more we have, okay. We have Amplify, okay, like that we have not only few, we have many more, AWS serverless services. Along with that some of the functions, we call it as Azure functions in Microsoft. In Google we call it as Google functions. Like that serverless services are providing many more serverless services. What actually we are doing in this particular course is, our main focus is on making you guys to work on projects, okay. I will talk about the projects after few slides, right? So next we will be discussing about how exactly we are moving, right? So what exactly means by serverless? So no servers to provision or manage, this you need to underline. Scales with usage, pay as you use, not pay as you go. Usually when we talk about cloud, we say that pay as you go, right? But whereas in serverless computing we call it as pay as you use. The moment you use, for that only the billing will be charged. Whereas in general, I want to compute something like 2 plus 3 equals 2. Over a 365 days, how many times I use that method of calculation 2 plus 3? Rarely, few number of times. but I purchased a calculator for that and I have to pay for that. But the number of usages I had hardly 10, 20 like that per an year I am talking. But all these years you have your calculator with you. The same thing is happening here in the on-premises as well as in the cloud. In cloud also we have launched a server called EC2. After the EC2 launching, we are running an application for a calculator which calculates a simple functionality called 2 plus 3 equals 2. When I enter 2 plus 3 equals 2 on top of EC2, which gives a result as 5. But remember, throughout the year my EC2 should be in the running state. I have to pay for that. But when you move to serverless, that's what we are talking about. Over an year, 365 days, 2 plus 3 equals to 5. Whenever you ask 365 days, only for that 2 seconds, 1 seconds, nanoseconds calculation time you have to pay. Interesting, right? That's what all is talking about. This particular diagram is completely talking about that. Okay? So, see here, we have an hardware here. The first slide, first column you talk about infrastructure as a service, next container as a service and serverless as a service. These three things I am discussing here. Assume that in the first thing we have hardware, on top of hardware we have hypervisor, on hypervisor we have multiple operating systems, then we can write some applications so that it is going to be done in the runtime, like for example Python 3.6 I am working, let us say. So when Python 3.6 is version changed into Python 3.9, then runtime is going to change. Okay, I need to again work out on it and I need to write the code accordingly, and my application should run on top of this as requirement of that particular Python code. This is usually happening in infrastructure as a service, and to work with my application I have to pay as long as I need an application. I don't know how many number of times I use this application, but I have to pay for that. I don't know how many number of users will use this particular applications in an year, but I have to pay for that, right? So this is what an infrastructure as a service. Whereas container as a service, which is exactly matching with the same thing, that is we have a hardware, on top of hardware we have a container again consists of some hypervisors and blades and all, which makes the guest operating system 1, 2, 3, 4 depends, which supports for which operating systems which is available in the container, like for example we have EKS, Elastic Kubernetes services, Elastic container services, Fargate, combination of your MySQL, and we have runtime. Who will take care of this runtime? Your developer is going to take care of the runtime again in the container as a service, because container as a service will give the will come up with a fixed runtime accessibility or the family of the accessibility. But if the upgradation comes, it won't work. So containers are having that thing need to be taken care. So developer again need to work on the runtime environment. So we need to work out of you need to coordinate with that particular runtime environment according to his code and application. The rest of all can be provided by the cloud. Black color can be provided by the cloud. Here also black color can be provided by the cloud. In infrastructure, who is taking care of all these red color I mentioned? Guest operating system we have to take care. In infrastructure as a service, runtime we have to take care, code we have to take care, and application we have to take care as a form of developer. Whereas in the container as a service, what happens? Your hardware, your container, your guest operating system, all will be taken care by a cloud service provider. But runtime environment, code, applications, all can be taken again by the developer, right? And this work can be simplified here in the serverless. How? Because here if you see this, in function as a service, Lambda, in event driven approaches, all these step functions, everything, hardware, container, guest operating systems, including the runtime environment, cloud service provider will take care. Only developer will work about his content of the product. He work about his own development of that particular application. For that he will write the code. So that is the phenomenal change happened in the cloud era called serverless. Okay, so with that we are moving ahead. So in this course we talk about serverless apps, that is applications, and how to deploy a serverless apps on the AWS platform. This is the prime thing that we are completely focusing on as an entire team. Serverless apps enables you to directly deploy your backend code in the form of functions that gets triggered for a specified event on your app. Without having to build, configure and maintain your own server, you can use all the serverless services like Amazon DynamoDB, Step Function, Event Bridge, Elastic Cache, S3, API Gateway. Like that we have numerous number of serverless services offered here. Here I will take a privilege to show you some of the projects developed by serverless services of your seniors, that is the previous batch of this course. I will show you some sample projects here. So this is one project like services for building serverless applications, which will be using Lambda and API Gateway, DynamoDB, Step Function, SQS, S3, Kinesis, SNS, Aurora, Athena, like that. This is the first project, like converting your text into the speech using Amazon Poly, and these are the links I have provided for your understanding. S3, CloudFront, Route 53 and Certificate Manager. With this combination this was developed. Okay, and second one is deploy AWS Lambda using serverless framework. Lambda, IAM, CloudWatch, DynamoDB, IAM, Gateway, Internet, all these the structure. This is one of your senior has developed this project. Similarly, wireless web applications on cloud. These are the various services they have used to develop this serverless web application to post the content and to get the content back from that DynamoDB. Okay, very interesting project this is. We need to maintain a static web page, and we need to develop one static page and deploy that into the S3 bucket. From there we need to connect to the Lambda, through which we have to connect to the API, and again from the API to DynamoDB to store the data. That to from the farm we have to post the data. The data is going to be stored in the DynamoDB. Whenever user needs data, he can able to get it by giving a particular key value, so that data is going to be fetched back again in the form of JSON format, get back that particular details. Very interesting application. And this is one of the very famous and interesting one which we worked a lot for this particular project. Integration on Amazon Lex bot with Facebook Messenger. Here I have shown you a screenshot of that. This was developed by Lex, Amazon Lex. We can integrate this with Telegram, Facebook, WhatsApp, whatnot. Okay, you can refer this link in later days for understanding the details of these applications. And building a serverless web applications using Azure also has been done. Okay, this is another project. And similarly, serverless web applications on AWS cloud to post and get the customer details. So you see, this is a S3 page where it consists of email, first name, last name, and user is going to submit his details. Once the user submits his details, the details are going to be stored into the DynamoDB through API Gateway. So you will be called here, Lambda is going to be triggered. Through Lambda, the data are going to be stored into the DynamoDB, and in reverse, you see, when you want to fetch the data, you can just enter the employee email ID, so that the details which were stored related to that particular email ID all are going to be fetched back to his main page. So this is how a very interesting part and developed. Okay, and this is the example, like by giving the email ID of one of the student, they could able to fetch the data back. You see, completely serverless web applications it is. Okay, and transcribing audio files with Amazon Transcribe, that is Lambda and S3. We have a service called Amazon Transcribe, the most useful in machine learning, and we have AWS recognition also to identify the famous personalities in the form of image and video, audio, like that. Transcribe is also one of the most useful service in serverless. Okay, yeah. Next, voting applications using AWS. You see, you can give the voting to your favorite faculty. You see here, no vote, something is there, Naresh sir is there, Ramesh sir is there, Suresh sir is there. Okay, like that, different faculty names are there. Just a user can give his own opinion on the applications. Like simply you can select and submit. The graph you can see here itself simply. Okay, very interesting projects all these are. Okay, next, banking up data using the AWS Lambda, that is a referral bot. One of your senior has done this. Okay, Ravuri Pujita, one of your this link, every detail is information here. You can just simply develop these applications to backing up the data with the referral bot, which is an advancement for the Amazon Lex. Similarly, we have real-time data processing apps also, very interesting. This was also available here in this link. Narasimha Rao, he has developed this, and real-time data streaming system using LinkedIn, and through LinkedIn also that records, you see, timeline and message and log records, everything are going to be stored here. This is also developed by one of your senior Amalab Devi. She has done this, and like various number of serverless web applications you can develop. This is the architecture. So the more you understand this particular course, the more you can develop the web applications. Only the thing is, you should have a passion towards developing such applications. When you sit together as a team and form as a team and work continuously for 4 or 5, 6 or 10 hours, then you could able to develop wonderful applications. Okay, more useful. And this is one of the other simple leave management system using the serverless services. An employee can apply a leave, and the manager can get the mail option automatically. All the flow can be done with the help of this Amplify, Lambda, DynamoDB, SNS, SQS, SES, step function. Like that, Lambda can work on behalf of you with the lesser price. Okay, that's the beauty here. Next, these are the list of LinkedIn's, and these are the different types of serverless web applications using different cognitos for security purpose. Amplify for deploying your application. Okay, API gateway to trigger your HTML files into your DynamoDB with the help of Lambda. This is again building serverless applications with the help of dynamic website using S3, DynamoDB, CloudFront, Certificate Manager, like that. And this is available again in the academy course, like cafe advertisement web page using the most interesting feature of S3. This entire website details we can develop. And as I told you, building a Telegram bot also is possible with the help of integration. Okay, building a web applications deploy and adding integrity with the interactivity with an API database. So this is also done. See, first name, last name, two things you can store in the DynamoDB. Same features you can use: Lambda, DynamoDB, API gateway, and your S3 as well as DynamoDB. Like, you can work on this. So various number of applications, various number of web applications you can develop. Lot of things you can develop here. That's all for today. You will see more number of sessions from us. The ultimate goal of the course is to make you work on projects, that too in serverless. Thank you. Have a nice day.